Okay, we are really live. I'm trying all kinds of new technology. So now, let's see, I used Be Live before. I'm now using, this is Ecamm Live. So I'll let you know what I think about all these cool platforms and tools that I'm using. But of course, as you can tell, this looks a little different. I'm actually streaming using my DSLR camera, which I'm pretty excited about. All right, so I wanted to just share a quick video update that I'll be emailing out to everybody in the morning when we're back into normal routines during the day. But I just wanted to share how grateful I am right now and how excited I am to be able to kind of formally announce our rebranding, our new name, and if you've been on the website or if you've kind of seen on our social media, maybe you've kind of heard rumblings that we're changing our name. And we've done it. So we are now officially UpMyInfluence. And so why the change? Well, I want to get into our purpose in just a little bit, and that's a big part of it. But I just want to share essentially, so when I started initially, kind of give you the whole story. Savings Angel was my other company. I've done pretty well with. You've probably heard my story. We've done well financially. And I'm very, very, very grateful for that. But the most exciting part of that is that we grew that company. I grew a startup and spent less than $500 in advertising to grow a company that went on to do many, 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 many millions of dollars in revenue. And I felt like, oh my gosh, if everybody knew what I figured out, I think it'd be pretty exciting. And in fact, I think everybody should know exactly how I figured out this system, because we had done that pretty much all on our own, just reaching out to local media, reaching out to other influencers, social media influencers, bloggers, and just working in partnership and serving audiences, something that I believe very strongly in. With Savings Angel, my role was to help consumers cut their grocery bill in half and save money on everything that they do on a regular basis. And so as we had that success, I started doing a lot of volunteer work in our local startup community here in Orlando. And what I was teaching was resonating really, really well. And that eventually turned into some consulting work. And then we got too busy for consulting, so we kind of became an agency. No, actually, first, before we became an agency, I started Millions in Free Media, which was basically the video course that is now a part of the larger UpMyInfluence service. And we just roll that in. That's like a $1,200 video course that you can actually get for free right now, which, by the way, I don't think is going to be free for much longer. So if you don't have access to that, I would absolutely grab that at our website at UpMyInfluence. Anyway, so we did that for a while, and I found that people really just wanted a little bit of hand-holding, a little bit of help. Hey, Josh, help me get this publicity, help me increase my authority, help me increase my influence. And so we got to work, and we did a lot of good work for people as an agency. And we found that really what we were doing really had the potential to be very, very blue ocean. And if you're familiar with that concept, there's a book called Blue Ocean Strategy, I think is what it's called. And it's essentially where a lot of business is kind of competed for very heavily. And it's kind of like the image of a bunch of sharks feeding after the same fish. And they're all kind of swimming in the red ocean. It's all bloody and like everybody's battling for the same slice of pie. I really kind of discovered that what we were doing was very, very unique in the world of PR, if you want to kind of put it in there, because we're not really PR, but we use a lot of PR tactics and we have a lot of PR outcomes that we aspire for our clients. But what we discovered was rather blue ocean in that what we really focus on is that we want to create authority and influence for our clients so that they can generate a lot of revenue. And that's kind of not real common in the publicity and authority and influence world. Usually it's just about exposure and eyeballs. And I know I'm oversimplifying. There are a lot of really great people in the PR industry. But what I found is that for the small and medium-sized business owners, services were kind of hard to find, like really good help was kind of hard to find. And so that's what led me to, and then again, I'm very grateful to have so many amazing mentors who I've been able to work with and kind of share, what I'm seeing and kind of feedback that I'm hearing from the clients that we're able to serve. And I really received a lot of good direction and, quite frankly, a lot of enthusiasm, and even enthusiasm from investors and that sort of thing about creating a product that truly could scale and solve this major problem that exists. And what is that problem? And the problem is that for far too long, PR has been kind of treated as a country. I mean, it's a great system if you can afford it. And again, I don't say this to disparage anyone who's a professional in the industry. I just think that there's some systemic issues when it comes to small and medium-sized businesses. Now, if you're an enterprise level company and you can spend $100,000 a month in PR, you're enjoying, you're absolutely enjoying the results that can be had. But I find that if you try and again, how the industry would call it cheap out on PR or try and find a solution for under $2,000 a month, it's kind of difficult. Like there's a lot of pitfalls that you could potentially hit. And I knew that, however, there was a lot of people that said, look, I don't have a big budget. And quite frankly, I'm not sure that I want to bet it all on black. I really would just like something like $2,000 a month on down, and it would increase my influence, increase my authority, because I believe that would help us get more sales, shorten our sales pipeline, the time it takes to kind of close a sale, improve our conversion rate, maybe doing paid ads on Facebook. We'd love for those to do a lot better. And what we figured out is that our work was actually really helpful for those goals. And so we, over the past 6 months, really kind of evolved Upend PR into what would now be known as UpMyInfluence. And that is to truly create a platform. Because what we do, I mean, we're a service provider and we're a platform, but really this movement we're seeing is so much bigger than us. And this movement is about business owners, entrepreneurs, startups, founders of startups, all taking back their own authority. Social media, influencer marketing, there's a lot of trends that have taken place that have really had a major impact in the PR world. And when I say PR, kind of like we get you, and if I'm a PR practitioner, we're going to take you and we're going to put you in front of a big audience and you're going to get lots of earned media, and that's going to make you look really good. And it's going to help with a lot of factors in business. But again, I think what we saw was that much like my own experience, I spent a lot of money. Now, when we did PR ourselves with Savings Angel, we ended up getting in the media over 2,000 times. When I tried to outsource it, and I thought, wow, if it's this good doing it ourselves, what would happen if we actually hired a professional and see what we could get from that? And, there's a couple of different providers we worked with. All told, we spent about $25,000 combined. And I had a couple of good introductions, and then I got to speak at a lawn and garden show. So that was kind of it. And again, I know that that's just my unique experience, but what I found is that it truly wasn't that unique, and that there were a lot of other business owners that were struggling with this issue as well. So again, that's kind of what's led to this evolution of knowing that we have a moral imperative to truly serve this movement, who are kind of walking away from a lot of traditional exposure getting services. Unfortunately, there are a lot of PR firms that are going through a lot of layoffs right now, because I think consumers, when I say consumers, business owners, are demanding and expecting results, and they want measurable results, results that they can monetize very well. And it's kind of a challenge at the lower level to monetize PR real effectively. And so how can we do what we do much more efficiently? And so our model and our approach to PR and growth and everything in terms of boosting authority and influence is to really democratize these services and ask ourselves, well, look, this is how it's being done conventionally, but why does it have to be done that way? Why do press kits and press releases and, being pitched to influencers, why does it have to work that way? Couldn't we do this much more efficiently and work in partnership with our clients and actually get them better results? And the results of working with our clients has actually been very, very successful, especially those that have a mind for growth. Clients who just want to outsource everything and don't want to even think about representing their brand, we're not a real great fit for. We love empowering our client. And we see that it actually works much better when making those connections with influencers, particularly with those in the media. So UpMyInfluence is really to work with this large global trend that's happening right now. And I just want to share with you like what our purpose is, and what our core values are. And our purpose is that we believe that every person has a message that can positively impact the world. I just fundamentally believe that. And so I don't think that every person should have to pay thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in order to have their voice heard. There's so many great platforms and tools that you can use today that I think make it a little redundant or unnecessary. And so we just want to work with those new tools that exist so that our clients can get lots and lots of exposure and do so in a way that makes it a no-brainer in terms of generating a return on investment. And by the way, I should say, because of this tool that I'm using, if you're leaving comments or anything like that, I apologize. I'm not seeing that on this format. I suppose I could have opened up Facebook earlier. So if you've been leaving hearts or likes or anything like that, thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. So that's our belief. And so what's our response to that belief? Like knowing that in our gut. And that is that our purpose or our work, like what we do is that we turn thoughtful entrepreneurs into media celebrities, increasing their authority, their influence, and ultimately their revenue, right? And I said thoughtful entrepreneurs because not every entrepreneur would be a really great fit for us. We tend to like to work with clients who are all about creating more abundance in the world. If it's a potential client, and they're all about shouting down somebody else, it's not really a good fit for us because it runs contrary to our mission. All right. And so with that, knowing what our purpose is, I want to share with you real quick, like what our values are. And I alluded to a couple of these already. So number one, and there's 5 of them. Number one is to democratize. And this is the first value of UpMyInfluence, is to democratize. And that is where we want to empower everybody with the ability to rise. See, if we all lock arms and we all maybe pay a little bit of money, we can get access to some really, really great tools. We spend a lot of money on licenses for agency level software. Now, the typical agency model then is to charge a lot of money in order to pay them, and then they'll look up in a database, or they'll have some kind of system that they'll charge a lot of billable hours on top of that. And again, it sounds like I'm criticizing the system. I'm just saying that for our target audience and our clients, it may not be the best fit for everybody. For those who are a little bit more, hey, we just want to be really smart about our investments, we would probably be a really good fit for. So democratization. Let's lock arms. Let's all pool our resources, and let's all grow together. Let's create amazing success together. I believe we can do that, right? So that's number one. Number two is authority. And a lot of times when people start working with us, they say, well, Josh, yes, look, I've been pretty successful. We've sold, $400,000 of this product. But I'm not sure that I'm an expert. I'm like, are you kidding me? You've made over $400,000 providing a solution to help people, yeah, I think you know something about business success, and you probably know more than 99.9% of the population on your specific industry. So one of our core values under authority is really to help people to own and grow their unique experience and wisdom. Expertise and wisdom. Sorry, I still have to look at some notes right here. I'm internalizing this. And by the way, I do need to thank my good friends Thomas and Alexander from Purpose Pioneers, and I'll give them I'll put a link below if you want to check out or kind of connect with them. They were very instrumental in helping us kind of discover a lot of this. But authority. Again, sometimes people have this imposter syndrome, and you really don't need to have an imposter syndrome. I mean, there's just no need. It's not a high bar depending on the subject matter that you're teaching. Brain surgery and rocket science, yeah, maybe you got to put some time in to truly understand what you're talking about. But for a lot of other things, if you spend a year or two working in that field, you really are in a unique position percentage-wise. Kind of funny because my wife and I both studied family science in college. My wife went on to become a family therapist, and we had a lot of classes together. And I remember one thing that we learned was called reflective listening. And it basically, what reflective listening is, if let's say that you and your loved one are kind of in a little heated moment, right? There's tension. It's not good. So one way to kind of interrupt that cycle of yeah, but you, and, that kind of stuff is to just, when somebody says something, you just reflect it back and you say, oh, so what you're saying is that, when I leave my dirty clothes on the floor, it just kind of makes the bedroom feel kind of trashy, right? So you just repeat back what they say. It doesn't mean that they're right or wrong, but I think for a lot of us, everyone just wants to be heard. And so anyway, this concept of reflective listening, I remember talking, we learned it in a class, and we just assumed that everybody knew what reflective listening was. And it turned out nobody knows what that is. I mean, maybe just a few people, but certainly anytime it came up in conversation, we were talking about, disagreements with a spouse, and, it's in that case, Jenny kind of just shifted into reflective listening mode, and it really helps. And every time I would mention that, people are like, reflective listening? What is this? What is this amazing concept? And so again, we get kind of, forest from the trees. When we're in our own world, we all of a sudden assume that everybody knows what we know, and most people don't. So getting back to our second value, and that's authority. We are very, very effective, and I would say at coaching and strategizing and really getting our clients to feel really, really good about what they do in the world. And that confidence, you can lean on our confidence. I've been in the media over 2,000 times. All right. Am I the most brilliant person when it comes to consumer savings? Absolutely not. But I'm good enough. And I'm willing to teach. I'm willing to serve. And oftentimes that's much more important than, having done your doctoral dissertation in a particular subject. Is that you have a heart of service, you want to help people, and if you'll do that, then the world just needs more givers. The world needs more teachers. The world needs more people who have a heart for service. And so as we work with our clients, we really help them to own that authority. Number 3 is influence, where we help our clients serve the world with their message to create the biggest impact. And, when you have authority and you have influence, these things are a currency. And imagine if you had 10 times the authority and 10 times the influence in your space than you do now. What would you do with that? How do you think it would impact your business? Would you get invited to speak at more events? Would you be invited to co-author something? Would you be invited to joint venture with other influencers? Would you just organically and naturally be invited into media platforms and again, work with other big influencers in your space on social media? I mean, all these things are really in your mind, you probably have a good idea of what that might look like. So just imagine that I waved my magic wand and I just bestowed that upon you. That's our goal when we work with a client, is that we want to 10x their authority and their influence. And so a good exercise that you can do tonight is you can actually write down and just imagine, okay, Josh just gave me 10 times the authority and 10 times the influence. When I wake up in the morning, what is my day likely going to be like? And just start like writing, just like train of thought, like what am I thinking? You just start just unconsciously just writing down what you think your day might be like, or you can make a bulleted list. That's why at UpMyInfluence, like, we're really big on these two currencies, authority and influence. Now, here's the thing. If you gain the authority and the influence and you don't do anything about it, well, then that's kind of like if I gave you $1,000 and you just kind of shoved it in your mattress or something, like you never did anything with it. It's worthless. Money just sitting there is all it is potential. But when you put it to work and you start using it, now it has value. Does that make sense? All right. So the next one, number 4, is innovation, where we're constantly challenging the status quo with everything that we do. I really liken ourselves to, Elon Musk's approach to the automobile or space travel. It's asking why. Why do things have to be done that way with everything? And so if our goal is to bring democratization and deliver authority and influence, but we need to do that at a price point that meets our value of democratization, it really challenges us sometimes on how we can deliver the most value for the most reasonable price. And again, trying to get a price point of anywhere between $400 and $1,600 a month, which is where our pricing is at right now, which is, roughly, 1/3 to 1/10 what a normal PR firm might charge. But again, PR, again, I keep saying PR, but it's a big subset of what we do. We use PR tactics, but you'll see as like you go and like you look at the products and services that we offer, it's much bigger than that. And it's really just designed to help our clients own and grow their authority, influence, and revenue. And so innovation drives us and, really causes us to just second guess any conventional wisdom out there. And then finally, our 5th value that I want to share with you is human connection. And that is where we harness the power of relationships to create sustainable collaboration. And it's our approach to PR. It's our approach to working with influencers. It's our approach to working with podcasters. It's our approach to working with pretty much anybody. It's how can we all win here? In business, I'm a collaborate at all costs kind of guy. I just believe that, if I help you get what you want, then it's probably going to turn out okay for me. I just don't subscribe to that old model of competition with, other people in your space. Like, we're okay. We're going to keep on innovating. I don't mind sharing like all our secret sauce. Matter of fact, I'm speaking at Social Media Marketing next week, and I'm going to share with everybody, this is exactly what we do. These are our results. This is why I believe what I believe, and you're welcome to adopt this into your way of doing business. I'm going to keep on innovating, and I'm going to keep on trying to push an industry to evolve. Which is, I think, what we should all be doing, is pushing our respective industries to continually evolve, and we continue to kind of skate where the puck is going to be. But human connection is one thing that we've discovered. It's what worked for us with Savings Angel. So rather than just sending out boring, stale pitches that are generic and just basically just spamming influencers and journalists, we don't do that. Instead, we focus on helping our clients establish relationships with influencers first and putting themselves, our clients, in a position where they are going to give and serve that influencer, whether they're in traditional media or social media or wherever they might be. Is when you lead with service and when you lead with gratitude, it just really opens people's hearts. And we've just seen this consistently. And matter of fact, we had an issue today when we were trying to make a connection, and we kind of reviewed the pitch that we were going to use or we had used. And we're like, wait a minute, this doesn't align. This doesn't square with our value of human connection. And so what that means is you got to invest in the relationship first. And if you do that, then at some point it may feel appropriate to make an ask, but not at the beginning. Gary Vaynerchuk's jab, 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 right hook, however you want to describe it. Really, it's about giving, serving, building up a know, like, and trust. And then at some point, you just let people know, hey, maybe we could take this relationship to the next level. Here's how I would love to be of service. And yeah, obviously there's, something in it for me. But that will enable me to provide even greater value to your audience, my audience, to the shared audience, whatever it may be. So anyway, I just want to share that with you. I want to say thank you so much. It truly is an honor to be able to do the work that we do. I'm so grateful for all of our friends and fans. I'm grateful for all those whom we're able to serve, whether it's our pro bono level, where you're taking advantage of the free information that we're providing, or if you're a paid member and you're part of our silver, gold, or platinum memberships. It truly is an honor to be, locked in, to lock arms with you and to do this work together and to create this good and to help amplify the work that you're doing. There's nothing more frustrating than doing your work or launching a book or launching a course or launching whatever, and nobody responds. Or you're in business for yourself and you start to experience stagnation. There's no excuse for that anymore. There's an endless supply of audiences and leads, if you want to call them that, just people who they're excited. They would be excited about what you do. They just need to know what it is, and they need to be introduced, and they need to get beyond this digital barrier. And I'll just kind of close with this image. And that is that if you and I right now were to sit down and have lunch together, and you were to start, and you would share all of your expertise with me. There's so many things that I would pick up on that go just beyond the words that you share. I would feel your emotion in your voice. I would see your expressions. I would be able to feel your body, see your body language. I would feel your confidence. I would know the passion that you have for certain things. I could just feel when you're in the presence of somebody else, there's just this energy or this spirit that you can feel when you have that person-to-person connection, right? Now, on the internet, which is where most of our audience does their business, we have a built-in digital barrier. And that barrier keeps people from connecting with you. It keeps people from believing you. It keeps people from getting to know the real you. So all we want to do and all we want to inspire you to do is just to lower that barrier and help people to connect with the real you, the person who's doing great stuff, who has a heart for changing the world, or a heart for creating financial success for you and your family, so that you can create financial success for other people, and you can build and grow the economy in your own special way. Maybe it's a feeling of wanting a little bit of significance in a way where you can be respected for the work that you're doing, and you want to be respected as someone who is a giver, someone who has contributed so much to society. We want to be a part of that with you. So I just want to say, look, if anything that I've shared with you has kind of inspired you in some way, and you're like, Josh, I'm ready. I'd really love to learn a little bit more about how your products work. Well, you can go to UpMyInfluence right now. You can click on the tab that says product or pricing up at the top, and go ahead and take a look at what we do. If you see that there's something that might be of value, go ahead and schedule a quick 15, 30-minute session with us. I've got Elisa, who's amazing, myself. We just made another hire, Eric. And that's another thing, too, I want to say thank you, is that we've been able to grow UpMyInfluence from one person, me in the beginning, to now we have a team of 12, 15 people. And then, of course, we have all of our contractors throughout the world as well. Another, I'd say 7 or 8 people that we use from time to time. So it's really exciting to be able to grow this. So thank you so much for supporting us in this work so that we can grow and we can fulfill our mission. But certainly, yeah, reach out, schedule 15, 30 minutes with us. Love to learn more about your business. I would say do this if you seriously have budget. Otherwise, like if we start talking and you're like, yeah, well, I don't have any money. I'm just going to tell you the same thing that I'm going to tell you right now. Just go do our free stuff. All right. And so if you do have budget, you're looking at your marketing budget and you're like, yeah, Josh, I've got $400 or $500 a month, or, I've got, $2,000 a month, whatever, something in that range, we can absolutely do some great work together. And so, if that's the case, then absolutely, go ahead and grab some time with, Eric, Elisa, or myself. And we may put Courtney back on the schedule as well, just depending on, my schedule. I'll be out all next week. And we'd love the opportunity to work with you. We have amazing people on our operations team, Rachel, Carrie Ann, Di, Jennifer, so many others that are doing amazing work for our clients every single day. We love what we do, and we love that we get to be able to do this work either for you directly or indirectly through the content that we produce. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to being of service to you.